So, as the Chairman mentioned, my name is Adam Roberts. I'm the new Deputy Commissioner of Licensing. Obviously, I took over for Jackie Held in May, June of this year. We just want to talk about some things, I guess, that are slowing our process down and trying to help everyone here understand about how and the quality of application that you're putting in impacts the work that we're doing. So obviously, as the Chairman alluded to, we're looking at our own internal processes and procedures. We understand that there's things that we need to adjust on our end, either to become more consistent or to make things flow more efficiently. But we really want to discuss some things that are slowing us down. I'm going to talk about some major points. I'm going to leave it to Amy and Maureen, as they're more daily in the trenches with things, to discuss, to go over some high impact areas that we need to focus on. First thing I want to talk about is the licensing info mailbox. I'm sure everyone is aware that the licensing information mailbox exists. We get upwards of 150 to 200 emails daily into that mailbox. I want to let people know that there's other avenues for asking questions to licensing. In the Contact Us page on our website, there is other areas that you can ask questions to. Licensing info shouldn't be a catch-all for everything. So if you have wholesale questions or renewal questions or permit questions, we do have separate mailboxes set up for each one of those units that you can address questions to. Speaking with a lot of people in the room, I'm sure some people have already heard it from me, but I'll send out emails asking people to do their due diligence before they ask questions to the info mailbox. A lot of times, we get questions in the info mailbox that are basic, that are very simple. What am I allowed to do under my on-premise license? And a lot of times, I'll send an email out saying, please go do your due diligence and look through the ABC law. As practitioners in the industry, we're asking you, when you're representing clients, to go out and do some research, do your due diligence before asking us a question. If you have legitimate questions after that's done, we have no problem answering them. But the reality is that mailbox is monitored by our supervisors and the examiners doing applications. So as you can imagine, with 150, 200 emails, if they're sitting there answering questions about a lot of basic things, or even just taking 3 minutes to reply to an email that's very simple, if you do that 20, 30 times a day, we're talking an hour and a half, that they aren't spending time reviewing applications. The Chairman mentioned we are working on processes to get more examiners into place because we realize that's where we're lacking. We need more people reviewing applications. I'm sure some of you noticed recently our serial date times are down. So it used to be 5-6 weeks that we were looking at from the time of application from mailing to getting a serial number. That number is down closer to 2.5, 3 weeks at this point. We put other people in place to work on that intake process. But on that lines, some of what slows us down is the intake process being incomplete. So we'll get applications from people that are missing money, where the wrong community boards are notified, where the address is incorrect on the application for where you're applying for. And these are all things that we're relying on people in the industry to check on and make sure they're correct before submitting to us. Again, we're looking at our own processes, but we're asking that you look at your processes too to make sure that information coming to us is accurate and complete. It may not seem like a big deal when the address is missing or something is incomplete, but all these minutes, based on the volume, the thousands of applications, and that's just new applications, never mind permits, renewals, and everything else that we receive, add up. And based on our resources and the people that we have, it really impacts what we do on a daily basis as far as examining, intaking, and getting letters out to people. I want to touch on deficiency letters because it seems to be that there's many cases where we're sending deficiency letters out multiple times. That is something that I've asked our examiners to stop doing, because every time that we have to sit down and write a deficiency letter, it takes time out of their day, especially if it's issues that we have asked for and we're getting either the same answer or not an answer at all. To me, that's a huge issue because, again, it takes time for them to sit down and write these deficiency letters, and then we have to have somebody process them when they come back in, and then they have to be reassigned to an examiner for review. And if we're doing that 2 or 3 times on one application, you can imagine just how much that slows our process down. So anything that you as an industry can do to be responsive to our letters is very helpful. I'm working internally with our folks to make sure that the questions that we're asking from you are clear and concise so we don't have to keep going back and forth about misunderstandings in the process. So that's something that we're working on, but I'm asking that you as an industry focus on getting that stuff back into us timely. Because along those lines, as you know, we'll disapprove applications for a failure to comply. So if you don't respond to us within 10 days, we disapprove the application. we're finding that a lot of people are using that opportunity to get themselves more time and then just request reconsideration after the fact because they'll get the information. That adds time to our process as well, and I don't think everyone understands that when reconsiderations come in, then we have to send it down to council, we have to get an opinion, we have to grant reconsideration, we have to retake the application back in, we have to reactivate it, we have to reassign it back to the examiner, they have to review it again. And these are all just time constraints that are killing us as far as us being able to look at applications in a timely manner. And obviously our goal is not to hold on to these applications. We want people to be open, we want people to be in business. That is our goal as an agency. But we need to do it fair.